Welcome, everyone. I'd like to officially start this meeting of the DeKalb Planning and Zoning Commission this Monday, October 17th. Could we start with a roll call, please?
Becker, O'Flaherty. Here. Pena Graham. Here. Stoker. Wright. McMahon.
Here.
Chair Maxwell.
Here.
4 present.
Thank you. We'll move to the approval of the agenda. If anyone has any additions or deletions. If not, I will ask for a motion to approve.
I move to approve as written.
All in favor say aye. Oh, I'm sorry, roll call.
Second.
Need a second.
Oh, second.
I'll second the approval of the agenda.
Sorry, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. So passed. I will look for the approval of the minutes from the October 3rd, 2022, sorry.
I motion that we approve the minutes as submitted from the October 3rd, 2022 meeting.
Moved by McMahon,
I second.
seconded by Pena Graham. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. This is the public participation portion of the meeting. If there's anyone that has anything they'd like to address that is not on the agenda, please step forward. If not, we will move on to new business. We have a public hearing, application for approval of the preliminary and final plat for the DeKalb County Nursing Home and Subdivision, and approval of an amendment to Ordinance 2019-003 to amend the interior lot line setbacks between the DeKalb County Nursing Home and the DeKalb County Health Department, located at 2550 and 2600 North Annie Road in DeKalb County. And I believe we have a presenter.
Good evening. My name is Derek Hyland. I'm the Community Development Director and the Assistant County Administrator for DeKalb County Government. As you opened with your introductory statement, DeKalb County and the DeKalb County Board has had their challenges over the last year and a half to try to assimilate what they want to do with the DeKalb County Rehab and Nursing Center. So over those time frames, the board has looked at different solutions to rectify what you've probably seen in the newspaper the last 9, 10, year and a half, maybe months. What is currently underway is the county board has established and went under contract with a letter of intent to sell the actual property. And it's a unique complex because on that campus you have 3 different buildings, and the one in particular in question tonight is actually attached to the DeKalb County Health Department. As you can see on the map on the screen in front of you, the subject site, the nursing home center looks like it's the 4-winged building to the north and east. The southerly portion there that's just kind of the elongated structure, that's the health department. So those 2 buildings were constructed about 20-ish years ago, and the connection between the 2 structures is a meeting room space. So it's a hallway corridor with meeting rooms. And so ultimately what the county board faced was how do we address what our census counts had become, where the burden upon the taxpayers could be relieved, and so they continued with this exploration of selling the property. Because in the newspaper and elsewhere, I think the number I've used to explain to people what's going on at the nursing home and center is there was on average about a $350,000 deficit each month that the county board was faced with that challenge. On the screen you see a couple of drone flyovers, and just to orient you again, on the right hand side of the screen is the nursing home center, and then you see just directly to the left of that kind of square building, that is the area where those meeting rooms are, and just beyond that is that hallway corridor. So uniquely, how do you separate the 2 buildings? We've met with not only the City of DeKalb's building staff, we've met with the fire department trying to understand if we go forward, and the county board will take action on this on Wednesday evening, I think is the next time that they will be addressing the sale purchase agreement. But if we go forward, where does that line then follow through the middle of that campus. And so meeting with the nursing home staff, meeting with county maintenance staff, the line really truly parallels who is responsible and has been responsible for those parts of the uses. So you see a black line that kind of scatters through there. On the one side demarks the nursing home center. On the other side is the health department. The health department is maintained and managed by county staff. The nursing home, they have their own staffing. So they plow their own sidewalks, they mow their own grass, they deal with their own issues there. So when you look at the two, that was the natural boundary because that's what and how they've operated for the last 2 decades. So to move forward then, we had to put this plan in motion, hire some civil engineers to draw the preliminary plan, the final plan, preliminary plats, and final plats that's before you this evening. DeKalb County Board appreciates the support, understands the challenges that they faced previous to this, but I'm here to answer and hopefully help address any questions that you all have.
Thank you. Could we start with the staff report?
Yeah, just a short report in your packets there. As Derek mentioned, the county is looking to sell the nursing homes, so they intend to create a lot, separate it from the rest of the campus there. The lot line, as I showed you, runs through the corridor between the health department and the nursing home. So they filed a preliminary and final plat to create the lot and all the easements, and also with running the lot line through the building like that, we have to eliminate the side yard setbacks because they're going to be 0 because you got the building right on the lot line. So that's part of the amendment. So we reviewed it as a staff. There are some few easements that need to be addressed. There's a bike path on the north side of the site that will run through the lot 2 created for the future nursing home owner. That will need to be in a easement to the city so it maintains the public. So that's one of them. There needs to be an access easement or blanket easement I think the county is going to create for the benefit of lot 2 over lot 1 so they can get access from lot 2 through the parking lot and out to the access drives that exit the site. So it'll be in a blanket easement in the Kishwaukee Water Reclamation District. I guess there's one sanitary sewer line needs to be an easement. They already have an easement for part of the site. So the county is aware of those comments and those will be addressed at a later time, but we're recommending those be addressed prior to recording of the final plat, and that will take care of all the easements that will be needed. So public response, we did receive after the posting of agenda a letter of support from the Gordon and Patricia Wickland Trust. They own 4 acres just southwest of the site, just south of the new Methodist Church building. They submitted a letter supporting the request, and that was handed out to you this evening. So we'd recommend approval. There's a sample motion prepared. It recommends approval of the preliminary and subdivision plat, and also amending the interior to remove the interior lot line setbacks. It's the interior lot line where it runs through the building there for the subject site, subject to these easements being addressed prior to the recording of the final plat.
Thank you. If there are anyone from the audience that would like to speak to this, if not, I will close the public hearing and open it up to questions from the commission.
So is there going to just be an invisible line there, or?
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah, like
will it be
their
physical?
custodial staff will go up to, a line of tape on the floor.
Truly, the line that's created that separates the two structures, it is invisible in that regard. Utilizing physical demarcation lines, one side of the sidewalk versus the other, ensuring that the imaginary line that parallels the health department building, making sure that those light standards and poles are on the right side of the line and not the wrong side of the line. So, yeah, pretty much how maintenance has operated for 20 years. We essentially are codifying and creating this lot line officially, because
Okay.
they've treated it that way.
Okay.
You know, you mow on that side on the sidewalk, and we'll mow on this side of the
Okay.
sidewalk, and it's unique, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Just out of my own curiosity, are the utilities divided up in that fashion?
Well, the utilities, it's a very complicated answer. So they share some systems. That's going to be have an agreement placed within the actual sale and purchase. So the intent is to allow the new owner of the nursing home center the ability to utilize the meeting rooms. With that, then the expectation, or at least hope, is that there'll be continued cooperation of utilizing some of the boilers that exist on the nursing home side that provides the heat to the others. So the contract, of course, as you can imagine, is very well written, and it's 40-plus pages in length and attempts to address those minutia and details that when you look at a building that was purposely built under one user, if you will, the county, this is the way the attorneys are figuring out how to move forward. So shared systems, some shared billing, yeah, that's what I think will happen.
Interesting.
Derek, does it work out that parking for the lot 1 where the health department would be and lot 2 where the nursing home would be, is it going to work out there that it'll, you know, if we were to build these, I'm sure there's enough parking now because it's built and existing, but when we do the split, is there enough parking for the residents, the staff, the visitors for the private nursing home, so the parking does work out?
Yeah, I revisited the City of DeKalb's parking standards. I've since lost the memory of memorizing them for years, but the nursing home can stand on its own with the parking that's created. Therefore, on the other side, the health department has met the standards as well.
Okay.
So that was purposeful in where that line was regarding the parking areas.
Sure.
And when there was addition added a couple of years ago, I don't know if any of you were on it at that time, right here, we took a look at the parking too, in terms of number of rooms they added, and we made sure, did a count to make sure they had adequate parking for both of the facilities.
Oh, that was right along the bike trail, right?
Yeah, it was
Correct.
right, the southeastern part, right here.
I do remember that.
Yeah. Was added a few years ago.
Okay. If no one else has any questions, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I can make a motion. Based upon the submitted petition and testimony presented, I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to the City Council approval of the preliminary plat of the DeKalb County Nursing Home Subdivision dated 8/27/22 and the final plat of the DeKalb County Nursing Home Subdivision dated 9/8/22, labeled as Exhibit A, and on amendment to Ordinance 2019-003 to remove the interior lot lines setbacks of lots 1 and 2 for the property located at 2550 and 2600 North Annie Glidden Road, and any other amendments to allow for the sale of the nursing home property, subject to the staff comments related to the easements being addressed on the final plat prior to recording.
Motion by McMahon. May I have a second?
I second.
Second by O'Flaherty. Roll call, please.
O'Flaherty,
Yes.
Pena Graham,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Maxwell,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you, Derek. Second item of new business, public hearing, a petition by Four Wills LLC, represented by William Williams, for approval of a special use permit for an amusement establishment, cyber and sports cafe at 901 Lucinda Avenue, tenant space E. We have a presentation. I take it you are Mr. Williams?
Yes. How are you guys?
Good evening.
Good. Like you said, I'm Will Williams. I'm representing Four Wills LLC, and we're requesting approval for a special use permit for an amusement establishment to be able to operate a cyber and esports cafe at the property you mentioned, 901 East Lucinda, right? The Suite E. The proposed use is a cyber and esports cafe offering non-alcoholic beverages and snacks. This establishment would not prevent any development and use of neighboring properties or impact any adjacent or existing and future land uses. Furthermore, it would not impact property values or the general public welfare, safety, health, and will comply to all UDO requirements. We plan on opening January 1st. Not sure if everyone's familiar with esports, but esports is basically, to put it simple, a form of competition using video games. It's been increasingly popular over the last 10 years, and currently it's over $1 billion in revenue. So I am a video game enthusiast. I graduated from NIU in 2011 with computer science and business and operation degrees. I was a dual major, but I do want to tell you the reason I went back to school is because of my love of video games and wanting to know how video games work. I feel that video games can transform a lot of things. It can reach younger people and get them into STEM, and just them inquiring about video games and trying to figure out what makes video games work will help the community. So before I hand it over to Dan, do you have any questions? Or would you like him to go over? Yes.
Yeah, let's go over the staff report if we could real quick, and then we'll close the public hearing to questions for you.
Yeah. As William mentioned, proposing an esports cafe at 901 Lucinda, Village Commons Bookstore building. And I had a couple pictures. They're going to be at the lower level, I think in the old recruiting center for the armed services here, about 2,100 square feet location. About in the middle of the site. It's zoned light commercial. So in the light commercial district, we don't have cyber or esports cafe listed. We do have amusement establishments, which says like bowling alleys and video game arcades, kind of an old use there, but to fit underneath that the best. So it's a special use. And there's going to be up between 30 and 40 computer and game consoles. There was a floor plan in there that I provided that William did provide us, just kind of showing what the proposed layout will be. He's noting the hours, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. Thursday and Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. on Saturday, and 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Sundays. Mondays through Wednesdays will be reserved for appointments and tournaments, special events, and things like that. They'll, as he mentioned, no alcoholic beverages, some snacks will be provided. And of course, there's adequate parking on the site to the north and to the east of the building. So a special use, we think it meets all the requirements. It's a good use for this location and other light commercial areas that we may have that might be next to residential. Maybe it wouldn't work because of the hours, but here it's really a perfect fit, actually, next to the university. So there's a variety of course, commercial uses in the center. It won't negatively impact any of those. Should be a benefit, actually, to most of them. And with the location next to NIU, it's a really good location. So we'd recommend approval. It just approves the special use petition for the use at the tenant space E, as was shown there. So if they ever moved within the center or expanded or something, they'd have to come back and amend it. But so we're approving that location. Their sample motion is prepared for your use.
Thank you, Dan. If there's any comments from the public, the obligatory pause. No, if not, I will close the hearing and open it up to questions from the commission.
William, how many employees will you have when you open up?
Just starting, it'll just be me and my family. As business picks up, we'll add additional employees We're looking to add maybe 2 to 6, depending on demand after we open.
I mean, I personally think it's a great idea. Here's the generational difference. I spent most of my youth at Bally's Arcade, not more than 50 feet down the sidewalk from it. So, and I have a son whose love for video games ended up in a STEM program at U of I. So, I think it's a wonderful use of the space.
Yeah, and you mentioned the generational gap. I'll just tell a funny story. I was at the barber shop, which is actually there, and he has a arcade game there, and a young gentleman, he had to be like 9 or 10. He had no idea on how to operate an arcade game, and for me, I'm laughing. Someone did bring up, right, like the generation, they've never been in an arcade. All they know is video games. And
yeah.
I didn't think of that. I just thought that was really funny because he didn't know press 1 to start the game. So the barber's like, you got to press this and that. And arcade games are a lot more simpler than video games, but he had no idea how to work it.
Yeah, we are the Jedi Masters of the generation.
Yes, for sure.
Any other questions? Okay, if not, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
Thank you. I do have a question for Dan, though. So why you may have covered this, but why does this have to come up for
Special use.
a special?
Well, we
use?
didn't have this use listed in light commercial district, but we did have amusement establishments, which is a special use in the light commercial, and did list like bowling alleys, video arcades, kind of the old use, was listed behind amusement establishments. So that's the closest use we could find in the LC. So we advise the applicant, you need a special use permit and go through the process. So
Okay.
Yeah,
in cases
maybe we
like
should-
this, it makes really good sense here. But if we had another light commercial district, like there's some on South 4th Street or East Lincoln Highway where there's homes right next to it, and putting something like this with the later hours may be maybe not appropriate. But here, that's a special use process. You look at the neighborhood. Here, it
Right.
really fits in.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I wondered the same question. Asking.
Okay,
I'll make the motion.
please do.
Okay. Based on the submitted petition, testimony presented, and findings of fact, I move the Planning and Zoning Commission forwards its findings of fact and recommend to the City Council approval of a special use permit for amusement establishment, cyber and esports cafe at 901 Lucinda Avenue in tenant space 901-E, as shown in Exhibit A.
So moved by O'Flaherty. May I have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Pena Graham. May I have a roll call?
O'Flaherty?
Yes.
Pena Graham?
Yes.
McMahon?
Yes.
Maxwell?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck, William.
Thank you.
I have a feeling you're going to be packed. So, staff reports on anything upcoming, and
Next meeting, November 7th, we have one hearing, which you got email on, 202, 204 Chamberlain. It's a duplex under one lot. The owner wants to subdivide it, put a lot down the middle of the unit along the party wall. That requires a special use. There's actually a special procedure in the two-family district for that, and they have a subdivision plat too with that. So they'll be coming up on the 7th. We'll probably also have at least another hearing there, which you will get a email this week, by the end of this week, of what that will be. So, in the last council meeting, they did approve the Park 88 plat, subdivision plat that you previously had looked at. Coming up a week from this Thursday, the city's a part of the Regional Planning Commission. That's all the communities in DeKalb County meet quarterly and discuss and share ideas on development issues throughout the county. So I'm going to be presenting the comp plan at their meeting a week from this Thursday.
excellent.
So that's all I had. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone?
Hey, Dan, I have a question. Was it the 140-foot Project Wildcat? Or
Yes.
Did they have to go through and get FAA approval?
Yeah, they looked at that early on. That's one of the first things, and that's.
So is there any update? Did they get the FAA?
I don't know if they got the
approval?
full approval because they haven't submitted the building plans yet, but they looked at that at preliminary level and they got a height that would meet the requirements. That was one of the earliest things they looked at to make sure. And worked with our airport manager and the FAA on that, so.
Okay. Thank you.
And that looks like that project would probably be starting next year. They were talking about starting some mass grading this year, but it looks like they'll start early 2013, or 2023, sorry.
All right, if nothing else, I'll thank Stephanie, Dan, and Jeff, and I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Motion by McMahon,
I second.
seconded by O'Flaherty. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. It's going to happen one of these days so fast. Thank you, everyone.